online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your number one source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows. Interviewing celebrities and showrunners. And bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh yeah, the wheels are turning. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in to the Dominion After Show here at AFTERBUZZ TV. I'm your host, Zach Wilson, and I'm so excited to talk about this episode where we have two wheels that are turning. Their worlds are turning. Guys, thanks so much for joining us. As I said, we're talking about episode House of Sacrifice 210. Oh, what an episode! I love this show.
Episode.
Well, first of all, let's take care of some business before we get into anything. If you want to tweet at me throughout the show, throughout the week, you can use the hashtag ABTVDominion, or reach me directly on Twitter at @ZachWilson, Zach with a CH.
You should also be using You should also be using the hashtag Renew Dominion.
Yes, Renew Dominion. Renew it. Watch it live all the time. You not only get to live tweet with all the people, you get to help the show.
Yes.
Jackie, where can people tweet at you, though?
At 123Jackie_B. I'm not checking my Twitter right now because my phone's dying and because I get distracted very easily.
Yeah, that's the one problem doing the show late at night. It's like the iPhone's batteries do not hold up to 11 p.m.
Nope.
But
I do love the iPhone. Just kidding. Just kidding, iPhone.
Yeah, but don't take away my new one. I already got it on reserve. Anyway, on topic. Let's start before we get to the wheels and all that. I want to talk about Michael and the prophet because this is the storyline. Somebody in the chat roll, because they were talking about Lucifer before we started, and like after that, this bomb drops. Thank you, Lilith Colbert, for just saying Zach is squeeing like a K-pop fangirl.
Yes.
I bet.
Yes.
I will acknowledge that the moment that they said, "Let me check the constellation," and he said the words "morning star," probably before he even got to the word "star." I think I just heard "morning." I just went yes, like through. I swear, I was sitting there watching the TV and threw my hands in the air. I think my girlfriend was in the other room, just like, what is happening? Lucifer! She's like, that's the weirdest thing you could have possibly said in response. But yeah, so this guy isn't Lucifer.
No, he is the prophet of Lucifer.
Yeah. So that he's probably a higher angel who fell with Lucifer into the outer sphere or whatever realm Lucifer may have taken over. This I thought it was an interesting thing. I checked out Dominion Revelations this week, which had a breakdown of the hierarchy of the fallen angels. I highly recommend it. It's a nice look at just how this all breaks down, and it mentioned in there that they thought Lucifer was dead at the top of the extermination war.
It makes sense because of Michael's reaction to when he says Lucifer, my brother. He has this sense that it couldn't be possible when he delivers those lines.
I mean, so we know angels are not immortal per se, but they can have their physical bodies killed.
Yes.
So I wonder if Lucifer suffered a similar fate to Lyrae in that sense, that he could have possessed somebody. I don't think they would go that direction, but it's a possibility. So the prophet is, they play poker.
Mm-hmm.
Weirdest, like, seventh seal like chess match thing.
See, that's what I love though. I was like, this is horrible because Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure is obviously like a reference, like it's like my first reference was like, this is like a Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure match, or Bogus Journey. I'm sorry, Bill and Ted's Bogus Journey match, which is a reference to the death chess game.
Yeah. I just was like, I was laughing when they picked Texas Hold'em of all things. No skill in like, because like it's not like you're playing like a long game of Texas Hold'em. Like the prophet even like flipped. He's like, well, might as well just show our cards because basically they're just Michael's just completely gambling.
He's completely leaving it up to faith, which
Yeah.
I thought was symbolic. He's not leaving it up to his own devices. He's completely leaving it up to faith.
Well, what's interesting about that is what it implies about what he believes about the world and how it's being run in God's absence. Because if God was truly gone, and maybe this is part of why he does it as like a test, if God's really gone, then fate like that shouldn't hold up. Because what he's basically banking on is that fate is the fate that he is to guide Alex, the chosen one, in this war is so strong that nothing, even blind chance, will bend to his favor. And he's leaving his life up to that belief. And I think does.
But I think that he has so much faith in his father, he has so much faith in God that he doesn't see it as chance. He sees it more as, if this is God's design, it will work as it's supposed to.
Well, that's what I mean, because if God is around, then that's exactly what it is. But if the whole premise of the war is built around the fact that God left, that he is no longer there.
But what if he left? Just for throwing out their sake, what if he left such a perfect like plan or set of actions or set of maps that it can't fail?
Okay, like a really, really complicated Rube Goldberg machine.
Yes.
God just like, he's like, all right, I got it all set up. I'm going on vacation. I'm going to launch this domino and then walk away.
Yes.
And let's just hope it works out. It's possible. And maybe that's what it is. But it does imply God's hand in these events, which I think is a very interesting, especially when played against now who we know the prophet is working for.
Right. And I love the idea that it's, I mean, for all the reasons we've said before, why we love the idea that it's Lucifer, because this town of people has no idea that that's who they're worshiping, essentially. I also like the idea of, we see too much it's interesting because we've had this resurgence of evangelical Christianity in contemporary times, where you have this image of Lucifer as like, I almost think of him as the Lucifer from the South Park movie, where he's like a big red horn guy. Maybe he's not so sad and gay like the Lucifer in the South Park movie, but you see him as, not that I'm saying that you have to be sad and gay at the same time. I'm just saying that was the character in the South Park movie.
Yes. Great character.
Great character. But you see this like biblical idea of Lucifer, where it's this guy who runs hell, and I really like the idea of, hopefully by the end of the season, if we're lucky, getting to see what Lucifer's like and getting to see him as an actual like being that people can relate to, not some I would love to see him as like a Michael or a Gabriel, just like looking like a normal person, where people can understand his psychology.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to get into the psychology of all of these characters.
Right.
Before we get off of the card game, there was a moment where I thought, and like, still part of me that thinks maybe Michael cheated. Although it could easily play into this being fated in some way because of how he won with 3 kings. And he had this smirk like, 3 kings.
Or maybe his brother actually didn't want him to lose. Maybe his brother does want to reach out to him and didn't want him to lose.
Yeah. That's possible. That Lucifer is just straight up like, I want this to keep playing out.
One of my favorite parts about this show is that they upplay the family relationships. This isn't just epic beings having epic battles. It's also members of a family. So thinking of that, do we really think that Lucifer might want to destroy his brother or have his brother be the sacrifice? Or was he just trying to teach him a lesson like, hey man, you came in and you circumvented my plans and that's okay, but I want you to learn from it.
Yeah. He could have killed him.
Yeah.
It didn't even matter that he wasn't there.
Right.
He could have killed him.
Right.
Which is new magic. But Lucifer decides to spare him as we see, like, the fire rages up, and that's, like, his signal, I guess. Mm-hmm. Like, let him go. Big fire on the Burning Man statue.
On the Wicker Man statue.
Yeah. It's like Wicker Man, or like it's like Burning Man, just like lasting for Mallory is just Burning Man, like 50 years later.
The sad remnants of Burning Man.
Yeah, it's gone from a music festival to just like people living peacefully. It's gone full circle.
I do like, now since we're on Michael's plot line, he's had some really questionable outfit choices. Usually I think, Michael, you're a really well-dressed guy. You got a really cool outfit on. In this one, I'm like, you got that weird Western outfit going on, which doesn't really match your style, but I get it. Because
meanwhile, passed out Michael is wearing fishnet shirt for some reason.
He's wearing a crocheted sweater. Where did you get that crocheted sweater? Why do you have it? Who crocheted that sweater for you?
It's really hot in the desert, I guess.
Just don't wear a sweater. That sweater serves no purpose other than to be Rocky Horror Picture Show decorative.
I mean, he knew he was coming back to meet punk rock Claire. He's like, I gotta step up my game.
It's true. He was like, I have heard Claire stepped up her outfit game. I should crochet a sweater for myself. Yeah. Or maybe that was an attempt where he did crochet the sweater and it just didn't happen well for him, but he still felt proud of it.
Yeah. What did you think the soul energy thing that he like took out of him was?
I actually felt like that was because the curse is passed from person to person to person. I felt that what he was removing was the curse that he had to die. Okay.
So that was just a visual representation of the curse of Mallory. The burden of the sacrifice.
Yeah, that was my interpretation of it. But then the question is, well, now who has to bear that burden next? Where does it go? Because technically Michael didn't die.
Well, I think that what the real question there is, what is the prophet and or Lucifer gaining from the sacrifice? Mm-hmm. As Michael points out, like, God stopped asking people to do that
a long time ago.
So why is that giving Lucifer energy that he needs? Like, he needs that sacrifice maybe to get his body back if he lost his body. Is the fire just, that's Lucifer? Is he just live in fire now if he has no body? Mm-hmm. So he needs that to like maintain it.
I like the idea that Lucifer is actually in the fire and that the sacrifices needed to literally keep him there protecting the town.
Yeah, until maybe it gets to a point where he can manifest into something physical. If he's dead, that would all stand to reason. If an archangel is, if they think he's dead, something must have happened. They don't just like, it's not like Uriel where they're just like, where it's like, I don't know what's happening there. I still think there's a chance that she could come back.
Yeah, if we get more Dominion, we need more Uriel.
Yeah.
You guys get on that.
Yeah, I still believe and hope that we can get her back. We know she's not coming this season, but like,
I don't believe she's
it's like
dead.
just enough open where like there's like it's all hearsay.
Yes.
Could easily be a lie.
Right.
But anyway, it's I wonder if they would have to have seen the body or seen some evidence that he died.
Right.
So if his body died, this could be his way back into the world. I don't know.
Yeah.
How did we get started down that track? Because there was a point. I
think it was just the point about talking about Lucifer.
Yeah. Well, the idea that Lucifer's fed by the sins of Mallory. What is going to happen now?
Yes.
To the town. Unless it's something where like losing that sacrifice is going to like ruin his chances of coming back for whatever reason.
Which I don't think. I mean, since the fire's still burning, it seems okay.
Yeah. Then I think that but it raises the question of why. Because if it's not to like help him get back, then I wonder if if it's like an experiment or something, or just like the need to control, then they could just do it to the next leader, like the next person on the next cycle of sacrifice, and never let the humans know. Lastly, with Michael, they mentioned Laurel in this episode, and Michael got this super far away look.
I ship Michael and Laurel. Maloral. That's
Moral?
my ship. Maloral. That's my ship name for them. Maloral.
Ren Einsburn in the chat has an interesting point. Lucifer might possess William.
I could see that, and then he would be the false prophet, because we were given a clue by the writers. We were given a clue that they both have markings.
Yeah, William and Alex
both have markings.
And I think we talked about this on the show last week. The idea that the two of them are they've throughout the show they've played almost parallel lines.
Yes.
On different sides. They both fell in love with Claire, then went away from her for different reasons. They both are closely tied to an archangel, William to Gabriel and Alex to Michael. Like they are each of those archangels' disciples in a very real way. Now we see that William or the artist formerly known as William,
yes,
has his own set of markings.
Right.
Maybe there's a pattern to them that we don't see yet, just like we can't see a pattern in Alex's until he interprets them.
Right. And he seems to be touting himself as some sort of like prophet savior person.
Yeah.
So I think that would be interesting to see if like maybe Lucifer's inhabiting him as the false prophet.
Could be really cool.
Yeah.
I don't think that I don't think it's going to wind up that Lucifer inhabits him or takes over his body. Although I would love to see that performance from that actor whose name I am blanking on right now.
Allen-Gale, maybe?
Is that Allen-Gale?
I don't know. I pulled that out of my butt. I'm not sure if that's right.
I mean,
but it could be.
Allendale is Ryson.
Something Gale, maybe? No.
I'm gonna look it up. So what do you think of William at this point? We'll call him William because we don't know what else to call him. It's Luke. Oh, it's Luke Allen-Gale.
Luke Allen-Gale. I knew there was a Gale in there.
It's confusing because Allendale is General Ryson.
Yes, but I said Allen-Gale and it's Luke Allen-Gale.
Yeah.
Okay, I feel good about myself right now. Just right now, not all.
But anyway, so what do you think about William?
Little
Wheel. I finally get to. Now they're back together. I finally get to use that analogy again.
Wheel.
Yep.
I actually think that I do think that William is a false prophet. I think that he's set in there because Alex isn't really saying, "Oh, I'm the savior," and he isn't really drawing attention to himself. I feel like William may step up and say, oh, I'm the savior, follow me, listen to me, blah, 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 and then get this following. But I don't think he's a good guy. I think he's going to be doing bad things with that. Mostly I'm basing that on the fact that he murdered people for clothing, but...
and for drink money.
And for drink money. Oh, it was for drink money. It wasn't for clothing. But didn't he take their clothing,
He did
too?
take a jacket.
Yeah.
No. David took a... Big Wheel took a jacket from a dead person.
But he did
Little Wheel just took some bar money.
Yes, he murdered someone for bar money, which I don't think...
And because he made fun of him. And his buttery hands.
I don't think that is a nice thing for the prophet to be doing.
Well,
or the savior to be doing.
Yeah, well, it's interesting because he's like touting himself as, like, I guess a savior.
Yeah.
But he refers to William Wheel, his past self. That's who he refers to as a false prophet. He says William Wheel was a false prophet, but I am a savior. So the question is who told him that?
Right.
I still think Dyad is the most likely scenario.
I could see that too, especially in this episode where we learned that there's a one more prominent.
Yes.
Maybe he's a dyad with Lucifer. Maybe because he hasn't named himself. So maybe Lucifer is that prominent personality, because we learn that.
Oh.
We learn that in this episode that in a dyad there's always one prominent personality, and it's usually the angel, because the angel's usually stronger and wins out.
Interesting. That could be really interesting. And Lucifer's just sort of intentionally taking a back seat.
No, I feel like William's taking a back seat and Lucifer is the front
is
seat
driving
person. Yeah, because he keeps referring to himself not as William Wheel, but he doesn't give himself a name.
Well, but Julian never really referred to himself as Leray. Either, and maybe that was just to maintain a cover of sorts, but I think that more what it is that because with Ricin, what we saw we saw him get really violent, and to me that was the angel coming through and affecting his personality. That like refusal to run, and just like. Not that Ricin is a runner, but like... But
he's a planner.
Yeah, he doesn't just like act and like kill a bunch of dudes. So that, I think, was the angel's personality affecting him. So my thought is that it's William Wheel knowingly became a dyad with Lucifer in like a worshiping sort of way, where it's please take over my body. Yeah. I want this. And but so in Vega, he's now William is being allowed to drive basically for now, but he doesn't consider himself still William. He is now Lucifer. And then when the time is necessary, when the time is right, flip the switch, and Lucifer can. I mean, if it's actually the archangel Lucifer, he could easily just like take over. He's strong enough to do that. But if it's not Lucifer, I think William Wheel is driven by this intense emotion of getting back to his father, like proving himself, like taking back the city and saving people in whatever twisted way he sees. And that, I think, would be enough to put him in the forefront of a regular dyad situation. But yeah, I think he's got to be a dyad.
I could see that. I could definitely see that.
Yeah. Otherwise, he's just insane.
Which he was to begin with.
He could be. He could easily be insane as well. He's got a crazy dad.
Although that moment to me with the moment David has where he basically realizes that he's lost his son because William tells him he's not going with him. I was so upset because I'm like, you're here too late. You should have had this moment a long, long time ago, and you came here too late, and now you're regretting it, and now you're just going to be sitting in a jail, which you probably should have been in jail at this point, which, to be honest.
Yeah. There's some great performances in this scene. Just very subtle things in the moments where they're not even saying anything. They're just sort of staring at each other from both Anthony Head and from Luke Allen-Gale. Like, just really strong performances where the emotion was very real. And then the twist, like when the tall redhead, the redhead assassin, like goes to shoot him. And William's solution is to just just throw her out of here. Mm-hmm. Like, she's never allowed to come back into my good graces. Mm-hmm. And David is just like, no, stab.
Such a David response. We have to get rid of her. If David would have it, there would be no one left in the city. Literally, no one.
You just had a whole conversation with your son about how you hurt people too much.
Yes.
But it proved, like, that's who he is. That's who David Wheel is.
And I was wondering, like, Eureka has this, she's supposed to be helping them with the David situation, but really her assassin was worthless.
Well, I mean, it was a crowded bar. She wasn't as skilled as we thought she could have been. Statuesque redhead. I guess she could have taken her out. Taken him out. Clearly, she's dead. But now Wheel is in Claire's hands. Claire, who is dealing with Eureka in a very... I'm mad at Claire. How do you feel about Claire in this whole...
I mean,
episode?
I feel like Claire has made a lot of wrong moves at this point, and now she's just lost. I'm so mad that Gates died. I am so friggin' mad that Gates died. I really liked him as a character. I really liked him with Claire, and that was a really painful moment to have him die in this episode. I would rather have Eureka die. There, I said it.
I mean, I'm just not sure why Claire isn't just killing her. Like, you're gonna get David.
Yeah.
Like, you, especially after the nuclear reactor's all, like, done, that's all done with.
She shot, well, I guess maybe, like, she feels bad for shooting Zoe in cold blood, but it's like, you would be better off shooting Eureka than you did shooting Zoe.
She's just too crafty.
Yeah.
She's too crafty to be kept alive.
Yes.
And
we know she has a lot of friends, so that's the other thing.
Yeah.
But I'm just so upset because Claire has not... Most of her sound decisions were made with good counsel. And now that Gates, who was her main good counsel, is gone, and she's left with Alex the doofus, I'm not really sure what's going to happen because she's a new leader. She's made some poor decisions. She needs to be surrounded by good council members, and she doesn't have them right now.
Yeah. I mean, Alex will be a good influence now that he's back. Michael maybe will be helpful. I don't know who else she has, really.
That moment, though, where Alex like forgot to secure the room and the guy comes out. All I keep thinking of is our commenter who wrote Alex is a doofus. I was just like, man, Alex, you are a doofus. And then he manages to do the whole beat up Gates and get the gun thing, and I was like, okay, you saved yourself, that's fine. Yeah. But you were a doofus for not securing that room.
Let's get into detail on Alex and Gates and their pissing contest in this episode, and just so ridiculous.
It was really ridiculous.
I lost a little bit of respect for Gates in this whole thing because he was such a little boy about it. Like, such just a, like, oh, you used to date my girlfriend where I gotta be all, like, macho. It's like, but you're such a nerd that his version of being macho is just using really big words.
I think he's doing that, though, because it's very unlikely that he's had a girlfriend at all this whole time that he's been at Vega, because he seems to, like, live in a basement.
Poor old Gates.
So, and that's not a judgment on the guy himself. He's a very handsome guy. It's just that he was, like, living in a basement helping run the city, so I don't think he had a girlfriend, and I think he was finally really excited to have this girl who he has been harboring a secret crush on. He's known Claire for his whole life, so he's been harboring a secret crush on her, most likely, and he finally has her. I think it was just giddy excitement.
Wait,
Such a bummer to me, though.
I'm trying to figure out where this comment came from, but somebody in the chat roll, Linda Milk's just like, Claire and Michael, no, just no. Like, I meant for him to advise her.
Yes.
Not to get them together.
Yes.
I don't need
She needs advice.
Love pentagram.
I know. Well,
Wait, I don't know what that...
Yeah, it might be back to a quadrangle because Gates died. Do not like.
The love rhombus is dead.
The love rhombus is dead. Why must you kill the love rhombus? And also, was that sacrifice really necessary? Couldn't they just go without power in the town?
Well, the issue with the nuclear reactor, once they got in there, was that it was going to blow up if they didn't get the cooling rods down, is my basic understanding of what happened.
Yeah, I don't know science, so that's the thing.
The thing I know I understand is those things had to go down or boom, as they said in the show.
Yes.
Boom. My question, though, because I also am frustrated by Gates' death, does this nuclear facility not have any radiation suits?
That is also disconcerting.
Like, there's a room that you can't enter because the radiation will kill you. But there's a problem that you might have to be in there to manually fix stuff. Maybe keep a radiation suit nearby.
I'm going to choose to believe that the rebels took all the radiation suits for fun time practices. I'm choosing to believe they were just like running around and wearing them.
Yeah, or maybe because I know that from what the writers told us, they've shot a lot of extra stuff and written a lot of extra stuff. I wonder if there was like a scene where they've like got bullet holes in them now.
Yes.
And they're like useless.
Yes.
But it is cool. The other thing that in this whole thing that was interesting was Gates and Claire's discussion about Alex being the chosen one.
Yes, she revealed it to him.
Yeah.
I like how they keep revealing that to people who then, like, die.
You're not supposed to know.
Yeah, apparently.
This is the fates at work.
Yes.
The fates say, if you find out about Alex, you're gonna die. That's just it.
Better hope you don't find out that information.
Yeah.
So, yeah, she revealed it to him, which it was so bittersweet because they had these moments of realizing, okay, I really don't know you that well and I'd like to get to know you more.
Yeah. It's cool. I want to see more done with the Chosen One story, like plot line as like what it affects. I want to see, like, I would love to get Alex to Mallory because I want to know why he's needed there.
Yes.
It could be as simple as that's what Lucifer needs to get his body back, if we're right about that assumption. The markings may lead him to something. Maybe Lucifer even knows where God went. Who knows? Maybe he's responsible. That would be a big twist. If Lucifer turned out to be responsible for God disappearing, it stands to reason with the way we think of Lucifer.
Yes.
I personally would love a storyline, like, now that we know that he's coming in one form or another, I would love a storyline where he's a more misunderstood version of the character.
Yes.
Because I love the versions of that tale where it's stuff like Lucifer disagreed with the way that God treated humans or things like that, and so that's why the war on heaven started. I find those takes, like, with the two sides that are very, both sides are wrong, both sides are right.
Right.
To be fascinating, especially with those two characters.
Where you can understand both sides.
Yes, exactly. Especially with the Satan character.
Yes.
I find it very interesting. But it'll be cool to find out where they're going with this.
Yes.
The prophet is protecting these people. They demand a very heavy sacrifice, but they are protecting them. So we'll just have to wait and see. I mean, that's more or less everything in the episode.
Ryzen.
Well, we talked a little bit about Ryzen. Well, he lost Clementine.
Yes. That was another moment
We also have to talk about Gabriel.
I know. That was another moment that frustrated me because I know the lesson is that, okay, the angel portion in the dyad usually wins out, and he lost out because he lost Clementine, his last connection to love, but his daughter's still out there. Doesn't he have his daughter to live for? I feel really frustrated because I just once, for one instance, like, want the human portion to win out and see a human win the good fight.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is an interesting point that Gabriel makes, where he says becoming an angel was the ultimate surrender. Like, we realize in this moment, like, these two characters have never been in the same room, but they have been on opposite sides of this war for decades. It's been Ryzen protecting his city against Gabriel for years. We sort of lost track of that because Gabriel became sort of, like, humanized to us this season. But he's very much the bad guy, especially to Ryzen. So this is a surrender. Like, this is angels winning. I guess that's the tide turning. Is it inevitable that humans will lose to angels? Might be.
I mean, and we end the episode on a huge cliffhanger. First off, Claire abolishes the V system.
Yeah.
And then we have Gabriel dropping the open amphora at the town.
Well, Gabriel, like, the moments we saw from very, like, intense, because we saw him yelling, like, somebody's like, "What do you want, Gabriel?" "I want my brother." "I want my brother."
So
throwing
well
a tantrum,
acted, though.
but he got the
So
black
well
eyes for a moment. He didn't later on in the episode, but towards the beginning he still had the wrath eyes. I wonder if it's still there, or if it was like it just comes up when rage fills him. Do you think his goal is to kill Michael at this point? Like, actually his goal?
I don't think that's actually his goal. I think what he really wants is for Michael to be on his side, for Michael to see his point of view. I after this season where we've been exploring Gabriel and Michael's relationship, I think Michael has no problem disagreeing with Gabriel. I feel like Gabriel wishes he had a closer relationship with Michael, or he was able to sway Michael to his side.
Yeah. Gabriel's so bad, like, at least, but this is why I'm wondering if the wrath has changed that in him, because he was getting, like, as he was getting infected by the wrath, Julian was also, like, messing with him, and, like, driving him, like, a little bit more insane towards Michael.
Right.
So I wonder if any of that held past that.
That's possible.
It will be interesting to see.
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah, but then the big twist is Gabriel, as you said, he drops the amphora outside Vega.
And we also know that Vega's hours are numbered anyway, because we're told that this power will only last like 3 years, and they should probably think of a plan B. So we have this moment where the V system's abolished, the town's, unbeknownst to them, the town's going to be destroyed on the outside by the Wrath, and they need to get out of there anyway.
Yeah. I mean, I've thought most of the season that like this season would be the end of Vega, one way or another. Just stands to reason.
Yeah.
We've spent enough time there.
Let's go to Mallory.
Let's go to Mallory. Let's go to Helena. So many cool places we could go. We literally blew Vega up, and I'm happy about it. No, I'm ready for I want all the characters in Vega. Like, I want Claire to go. I would have liked Gates to go. We're not getting that.
So depressing.
I'd like Noma to go. Oh, speaking of Noma, before we get into predictions, Noma is experiencing pain in her wings, or where her wings were. That could be as the very simple phantom limb pain, which, like, yeah, that makes sense. Do you think that there's anything more to it?
Oh, I definitely think there's something more. I have no idea what that is, but I definitely think there's something more. And I will say my one of my favorite lines in this episode was, "Crazy how a part of you can hurt so much after it's gone." And this episode is so chalked with pain and loss that it was so nice to me to see, okay, this doesn't apply to just Noma. This applies to all of our characters, to their pain and loss.
Yeah. It's a very subtle, very smart bit of writing.
Yes.
That you don't necessarily catch, and that's the great part about it.
I also like the use of Gates as precious cargo, and then calling him Precious. That's my other favorite line.
Yeah. Oh, poor old Gates.
Poor precious cargo.
Rest in peace, Gates. You died really bad, really, really badly.
And all you got to give Claire was a baseball card.
Yeah. Yeah, because he couldn't have given, like, there's no shot at him having given her a baby. No Gates Jr.
So
and nobody left to maintain that nuclear reactor. Let's also put that out there. Because I'm pretty sure the rebels killed everyone.
I think that's why they're going to have to evacuate the town, because they've lost their scientists.
Yeah. All right, real quick, let's do a quick round of predictions, and we'll sign out. Jackie.
Buzz TV predictions.
That's right. What do you think for next week?
I definitely think they're going to have to leave the town, or they're going to be alerted that they need to leave the town.
Okay. I mean, the amphora getting dropped means that everyone in that town is going to go nuts. I think you're going to see mass riots. We saw in the preview that Michael is seeing some horrifying images that, like, it showed Alex, like, dying on a table with Noma saying over. I seriously doubt that that's what's happening.
But we do know that Lucifer pulled him into a vision, so it's possible.
Well, I think that this is the Wrath driving him nuts. I think the Wrath is going to show everyone the worst thing they could see, just like Gabriel saw Michael bad-mouthing him. So I think Alex is going to see... I'm very curious what Alex would see as the worst case scenario. It'll maybe reveal his feelings on the remnants of the love rhombus. I don't want to call it a love triangle. Love triangles are boring.
Yeah, it's a love rhombus.
It's a broken love rhombus.
Yes, it is a broken love rhombus.
It's when if you feel God's wrath, what is your worst nightmare? And that's what you're going to see.
I could agree with that.
All right. Guys, that's going to do it for us here at AfterBuzz TV for the Dominion After Show. Thank you so much for joining us again this week. 3 more episodes to go. 3 more episodes. Make sure that you're watching them live or as quickly as you can. Make sure you do it within the first 3 days. Watch it, tweet about it, use the hashtag RenewDominion, because I need another season of the show. I need it. And you guys can help us do that. Also, be sure to go onto iTunes, give us a rating, go on YouTube, hit us with a thumbs up. All those things, they help us out at the network and help the show, because believe it or not, SyFy does track that kind of thing as they make their decision. Your viewership counts in all of the areas. Until next week, Jacque Borowski, where can people keep up with you?
You can find me on my website, 123jackieb.com. Also, I'm doing the AIDS walk in LA for my company, and If you are interested in donating to our site, our campaign site, I would be so forever grateful. And the link is on my Twitter.
And you guys can follow me on Twitter at @ZachWilson, ThatZachWilson. It's on the screen if I mumbled over it. You can also catch me starting this Sunday at 10 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. We are going to be starting the Doctor Who after show. I'm so excited. We also just did a fun, I directed a promo for it that's really ridiculous. It's on the AfterBuzz page and on my Twitter. Go check it out. Also starting next week, The Muppets and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. We'll be talking about those here. Guys, I'm Zach Wilson, and thanks for geeking out with us.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.